What's happening? Brian Edwards, MajorWager.com. Let's knock out an NFL video ahead of Week 3. And wow, what a 2 weeks of quarterbacks getting beaten up and lots of teams in trouble. We'll start with the Steelers. Big Ben, out for the season, elbow surgery, 37 years old. Remember, they traded Josh Dobbs after Nick Foles got hurt. They traded him to Jacksonville. So it's going to be Mason Rudolph out of Oklahoma State. Shredded all the passing records there. I loved me some Mason Rudolph in college. Bet on Oklahoma State a lot. Watched a lot of their games his senior year. I was wanting Mike Gundy to be the next Florida Gator coach. So I liked him. He's tall. He's got a big arm. He played pretty good last week against Seattle. I wasn't really watching. I was at the Shades with all the games, but I wasn't really watching that one too much. But anywho, so Big Ben, third in NFL history in career wins with 144. He is third in career passing yards, 56,545. 216 regular season games for the Steelers, 144, 71, and 1, a 13-8 record, and 21 career post-game starts, 2 rings, 3 trips to the Super Bowl. Big Ben, hey, he was playing ball last year. He led the league in passing yards last year. He set the single-season record in Steelers history with touchdown passes and passing yards, and had himself a season. So what does this do to Pittsburgh's future odds? The Westgate Superbook in Las Vegas, they had Pittsburgh 30-1, even despite what had happened in Foxborough the week before. They had them at 30-1. They adjusted them to 200-1. So we'll see what Mason Rudolph can do. Mike Tomlin, during his tenure with the Steelers, 0 losing records, but they are out to an 0-2 start for the first time since 2013 as they lose 28-26. Now, Rudolph did complete 12 of 19 last week, 112 yards, 2 touchdowns, but he did have 1 interception. So we'll see what happens with the Steelers. And, Big Ben's kind of straddled the fence with retirement the last couple of years. I don't think he wants to go out like this. I think we'll see him back next year, but it may depend on, how Mason Rudolph plays. Okay, so Drew Brees in New Orleans, he just never, ever gets hurt. I mean, he signed with the Saints after Katrina, which was 2005, and he's missed 1 game with an injury. Now, he missed a couple of regular season finales when they were locked into their playoff position, but only 1 game to a shoulder injury at Carolina in 2015. He hits his thumb against the Rams, Aaron Donald's helmet, and he has to have surgery on his thumb. He has a torn ligament, and it's a thumb on his throwing hand, and so he is out for 6 weeks. He has not missed, other than that Carolina game in 2015, he had not missed a game until this coming week since he tore his ACL in high school. Hadn't missed a game due to an injury. Now, you'll remember when he shredded his shoulder, that was in the regular season finale with the Chargers, and so he was ready to go by week 1. For the Saints the next year. Isn't that wild? And, one of the shortest NFL quarterbacks these days, if, probably ever. So, what do you get now? Well, now you got Sean Payton. How good of an offensive coach he is. His head coaching tenure has been all Brees. Now, Teddy Bridgewater. His moment arrives after being the starter in Minnesota for 12 of 13 games as a rookie. And in his second season in 2015, Teddy Bridgewater completed 64.4% of his passes for 2,900 19 yards, but a mediocre 14 to 12 touchdown to interception ratio. I'm sorry, those were his rookie numbers. What I just gave you from 2014, the 14 to 12 TDI and T ratio were his rookie numbers. The next season started all 16 for the Vikings, 65.3 completion percentage, 3,231 passing yards, and a 14 to 9 TDI and T ratio. Of course, then he had the catastrophic knee leg injury where there was an ACL tear, structural damage, knee joint was dislocated. He had to be rushed to the hospital. I mean, they thought he might lose the leg it was a non-contact injury as well. So he missed all of 16. Late in the 17 season, he was able to come back. I think he just came in for a couple of series, if I'm not mistaken. I forget if Minnesota was going to the playoffs that year anyway, but I think it was week 17. Anywho, it was the next year with the Jets, so last preseason, August of 18, that he was playing really well for the Jets in the preseason. The Saints traded for him, and the regular season finale last year, 14 of 22, 118 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. They lost 33 to 14 to Carolina, but they were just trying to get out of that game healthy and get to the playoffs. So the Westgate Superbook still has the Saints as a contender. Brees will be back, but they did move the odds to win Super Bowl LIV from 10 to 1 to 20 to 1. Now, how does that affect the odds in the NFC South? The Saints remain the chalk, plus 125. The Falcons are now plus 200. The Bucks plus 400. Carolina plus 800. I don't know how the hell I don't remember the last time Matt Ryan threw 3 interceptions in a game, but he did, and the Falcons still won the other night against the Eagles. So, other quarterback, this is just crazy. We're 2 weeks in, and Foles, broken collarbone, might come back late November, December. We'll see. Andrew Luck retires. So you've got the Colts impacted, the Jags impacted, the Saints, the Steelers. Now the Giants are going to Daniel Jones, the rookie out of Duke. It appears the Eli Manning era is over. But a lot of people were saying that. Was it last year or 2 years ago? I think it was last year when they sat him for a game or two. Or no, that was 2 years ago because they fired that coach. But anyhow, yeah, I don't know where that coach is now. But, okay, the other quarterbacks. All right, Cam Newton, obviously, is questionable this week. And Carolina is 2.5. Okay, let's see if I've got a notification. Maybe that's indicating he's more doubtful. No, still questionable with the foot. And they're not going to start Will Greer. In fact, they're going to start Kyle Allen if Cam can't go. He's not been ruled out yet. Kyle Allen was the 5-star quarterback that signed with A&M and Kevin Sumlin same year Kyler Murray did. And Kyle Allen was, as a true freshman, orchestrated a win at Auburn as a 24-point underdog. But then he and Murray ended up transferring. Where did Allen end up? SMU, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure he ended up at SMU. Yeah, he did. Okay, so all these, Sam Darnold, mono, not going to be back till week 5, so he'll miss one more game, the open date, and hopefully be back by week 5. Their backup, Trevor Siemian, broke his ankle the other night. Man, that looked like a bad injury. I'm glad it was just a broken ankle. He's out for the season, however, and it's the Luke Falk show for the Jets. The Luke Falk show. My man, Luke Falk, loved him at Washington State. I do not think he's an NFL quarterback, but he won me a lot of money back in the day. Love the guy. Wish him nothing but the best. Okay, so I don't remember in the past this being a weekly thing, but it's a weekly thing now, and ain't it great? Sports betting in America. Love it. So we have week 4 look-ahead lines. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting where these came from. I got it from ESPN's David Payne Purdume's tweet. I want to say CG Technology, but don't quote me. Green Bay -2.5 at Lambeau against the Eagles next week. Pats -6.5 at the Bills. Will the Bills still be undefeated? And I got a prop about the last team to be undefeated to get to shortly. All right, Cleveland. They are at Baltimore next week. Baltimore -3.5. KC -4.5 at Detroit. How about my boy D-Rob Gator? Man, he had himself a first half last week. Dallas -2.5 at New Orleans. Sans Breeze, obviously. And the Bolts -16.5 at the Fins. CG Technology has reopened a season win total. I've never heard of a season win total being reopened in the NFL, but you can understand why, because we're talking about the Dolphins. It has been reopened at 1.5 games, -130 price to the over, +110 to the under. I got my mag over here. We might have to break out that schedule and look at it here in a minute. Okay, a CG Technology bettor hit an 8 flippin' team parlay last week. Listen to this. He risked $424 and he won 74 large, thanks to the Browns sealing the deal Monday night. Here were the other 7 legs of his parlay. Rams -2, which was an easy winner, perhaps because Breeze got hurt, but regardless. Rams Saints under, easy winner. Broncos +2.5. He won by the hook. Bears Denver under, easy winner. Atlanta Philly under. I don't know. Philly was kind of threatening there at the end. I don't even, what's the total close at? Because that would have been 52 had they scored Philly late. I forget what that total was. Anyhow, Atlanta +1. That was a little hairy down the stretch. And KC Oakland under. You just got straight up lucky, homeboy. It was 28-10 at intermission. I was on that over 53. 38 combined points at half on track for 76. And then basically no points. So congratulations. What an 8-teamer. I've never hit an 8-teamer. I don't know that I've done more than a 4-teamer in the last decade or ever. I don't know. Maybe, I probably threw $5 in Vegas down for maybe a 6-teamer or something. Maybe. I sure as hell would not risk 400 or 424, I should say. Okay, we have 2 favorites of more than 21 points this week in the NFL. I mean, I saw that and I'm like, oh gosh, I gotta look this up. And fortunately, somebody had already done it for me. And it has not happened since '87, but that doesn't even count to me because that was a strike year. And during the strike year, you had different guys crossing the, some weeks, some guys, some teams toward the end of the strike had just about all their key players back, whereas others didn't cross the picket line. Last thing I want to share with you, Bovada has a prop bet for the last NFL team that'll be undefeated this year. Not to stay undefeated, to be the last team standing as an unbeaten. They can lose their next game if they're the last one in that week. Pats -115 favorite. Chiefs +325. I'd have to look at the schedule to handicap it a little bit, but the Chiefs at plus money north of 300 is attractive to me. The Cowgirls 5-1 odds +500. Seahawks 10-1, Rams 12-1, Ravens 16-1. 49ers and the Packers are both 20-1. Shout out to the Niners. 2-0. I've had you both weeks. I like you again this week. I like to fade a rookie NFL quarterback making his first career start. We have Daniel Jones in this situation. We have the Niners playing extremely well, and I like the Niners minus the 6.5. And then we have the Bills. Yes, the Bills are undefeated, 100-1, and even the Lions at 150-1. They are undefeated. Defeated means you you haven't lost, or you're undefeated means you haven't lost, obviously. And so a tie is irrelevant to that. You are still undefeated if you have a tie on your ledger, like Detroit does. All right. Darius Leonard is in the concussion protocol for the Colts, star linebacker. There's some other injuries out there. I wrote about Jones getting the starting nod ahead of Eli. You can read that on MajorWager.com if you would like. And thanks for joining us. I'm Brian Edwards, MajorWager.com, and you are caught up on the latest NFL injuries. Over and out.